This is Avi, my avocado toast pillow. It's silly and it's goofy and it brings me joy. At Loki Transformations, I'm always trying to tell my clients that what really matters at the end of the day is that they surround themselves with things that they like, that feel like a reflection of their character, or simply things that bring a smile to their face. In today's video, I am styling the new glass shelves in my partner and I's apartment. One of the goals I had for our shared space was that my partner and I both equally saw ourselves reflected in the design of the space. So I took that into consideration a lot when deciding what to put on our shelves because it's not just my home, it's their home too. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right. Channeling my Sophia Nayandar there. My dishwasher is running right now, so if this audio is terrible, I'm probably just going to do a voiceover anyway. I have a lot of my pretty things that have just been sitting here since I unpacked boxes, so I figured better now than never. Step number 1 is take everything off and clear it out. Now it's time to dust. A quick view of the table here to show you what we're working with. These are some things I took off the shelf as well as things from elsewhere in the house that might go back up. This is just my tea this morning that I didn't finish. A great example of my partner's aesthetic versus my aesthetic, but we're gonna make it work. Also, since we just moved in recently, things like this sconce that I put on the wall in the old apartment that I haven't had a place or time to put up yet have just been sitting there, and obviously things like that are not going back on the shelf. I don't want it to just be a storage area. I want it to look pretty when I'm done today. So here's a good head start of what we're working with. I think the first thing I want to do to style the shelves is I'm going to put the things back on the shelf that I know I absolutely want to have up there, and that will allow me to start pulling out a color scheme. The thing about this mirror behind this glass is it's going to reflect whatever's sitting next to it. And right now, we have a sentimental artwork from my childhood home as well as sentimental artwork from my partner's home. I don't know if you can see both in the frame, but there's a lot of peach, coral, orange, warm tones. So I'm going to try to lean into that color palette and see what we can come up with. My dog for breakfast in a food dispenser that she pushes across the floor. So occasionally I find pieces of kibble lying around my house. Alright, I had to give the kibble to the dog, and while I was back there, I found some really pretty blue and orange artwork, which might not necessarily be helpful for this shelf here, but behind the counter right now, I'm trying to style our new apartment living room with hues of blue but that's for another video. So I was excited to find these. I mean, how cool is that? Huh? Anyways, back to these shelves. Alright, so I've grouped a lot of things on the shelf here, and now's the fun part. It's gonna take me a while just to move everything around and see how I like it. I would put this Friends frame back up, but I have plans for this elsewhere, and unfortunately I don't have a lot of pops of yellow. I want to keep some of the plants here and figure out which of my plant pots I like best. There's an example of things that are my partners that I want to incorporate. This orange and yellow here, that pop is really nice. I need to just lighten up everything else around it so that this really stands out and it doesn't feel cluttered over here. These flowers are stunning, and of course they get this color that I'm really going for, and it makes a big pop and a difference. But these are fresh flowers, so obviously I won't always have these up here. I'm gonna sell them for today and then put them in a place that once these flowers run their course, the spot that they're in hopefully won't feel like empty and missing once I have to change those out. Something to note about up top is that you can see I'm almost 6 feet tall and this shelf is above the top of my head. So anything that's up here really has to be kind of light and pretty from every angle. You can't put anything too heavy up here because it's going to create shadows shining down, and also because it's above eye level, anything visually blocky looks a little too heavy up there, especially these things in black. But even putting my little vintage tin recipe card up here feels like too much because you see the bottom of it, and that creates a heaviness feeling that we're not really going for. That's also why this big box has to be on this base level. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm still in the process of figuring this out, but one thing I'd say about styling these shelves is the rules that apply when I'm styling a typical shelf totally don't apply. I'm gonna take this down, put the pothos over here, and take a step back again. This time seeing if I like it better, if there's less in the middle of the shelf so that we're still getting more of the images coming on the reflection from the wall behind me. I think I have a winner. Let me clean off my table and show you the grand reveal. Let me know what you think of the shelves in the comments. As you might have heard me say, I went with the less is more approach because with the mirrored aspect behind everything you put on the shelf, it had a visual effect of doubling everything that was there. So although typically I would add a little bit more and create more specific vignettes on a shelf,
I'm looking at you, Clustercore on TikTok. I really had to pare it back, so I'm happy with how it turned out. Of course, things like those fresh cut flowers are going to be changed up every so often, and things move. You know, a realistic home is not styled once and stays the same. So I'm sure we'll play around with what is there as we live here and we see what's functional and what we like. If you like this video, I release new videos on the 1st of every month about attainable interior design relating to commercial and residential spaces, how you can make your space more joyful and maximize the function, whatever your objectives are. I share a little bit of everything in between, so thanks so much for being here. Please subscribe, and I will see you next month.
Oh, something in my eye. Boy, I'm a hot mess today.